Hi children, today I am going to discuss about the last part of your chapter 5 cell. Here cell organelles and cell theory will be discussed in this video. So keep watching the video, and for further details for new chapters and new topics you have to like, share and subscribe my videos. Student, today I am going to teach you about cell organelles. Now I am going to describe about endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, vacuole and plastid. So first is endoplasmic reticulum. Now endoplasmic reticulum is a very important cell organelle found in eukaryotic cells. Now endoplasmic reticulums are generally found near the nuclear membrane. Now endoplasmic reticulum are divided into two types, SCR and RER. S means smooth endoplasmic reticulum, while RER stands for rough endoplasmic reticulum. Why this SCR and RER named like smooth and rough? Now smooth is because of the absence of ribosome over it, and RER means rough. Rough means it gives a rough appearance, ribosomes are adhered on the surface. Now why and how these ribosomes get adhered on the SCR and RER, that I am going to describe you. Now you see here I have drawn a nucleus. This is a cell. Suppose this is a cell. This is the nucleus. So these are nuclear pores. Now nucleolus produces the ribosome. So suppose this is the nucleolus inside the cell. So inside the cell the nucleolus produces the, suppose this is a nucleolus. In the nucleolus the ribosomes are produced. Now these ribosomes after production in the nucleolus passes away through the pores and comes out and gets stuck over the endoplasmic reticulum. Now those endoplasmic reticulum which are stuck by the ribosomes are called RER, while the endoplasmic reticulum located far away from the nuclear membrane near the periphery of the cell or near the plasma membrane, they are called SCR. So SCR are those endoplasmic reticulum where ribosomes are absent, while RER are those where we can find ribosomes stuck to it. So SCR generally helps in the synthesis of lipid, while RER helps in the synthesis of protein. Now SCR is composed of vesicles and tubules, while RER is composed of cisternae and few tubules. Okay, now I told you where are the locations. SCR is located near the periphery or near the cell membrane, while RER is located deep inside the cytoplasm, that means near the nuclear membrane. Both these SCR and RER, they are very important because they play an important role in the transport of materials, and they also contain several enzymes for various metabolic process in the cell. So these are the functions of the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so next come here in the SCR and RER, you can get some differences. You can learn the differences between the SCR and RER, and some of the differences I have just mentioned here, 3 differences. You can write many more. You can refer to a NCERT book or any other book. Next organelle is Golgi apparatus. Now next cell organelle is Golgi apparatus or Golgi complex, you can say, or Golgi body. Now this Golgi apparatus or Golgi complex, or whatever you say, Golgi apparatus, it was discovered by Camillo Golgi in the year 1898. He has discovered this in nerve cell by silver nitrate solution by the reaction known as Dark reaction. So you might have learned it in class 8 already. Now this Golgi complex is composed of system of membrane bound fluid filled vesicles. Okay, next component of the Golgi is large spherical vacuoles, and the third component is flattened cisternae. So they are formed of membrane bound fluid filled vesicles, vacuoles and cisternae. Now these vesicles, these are stacked together. They are stacked one upon another. Means when you keep books one upon another, just like that, the cisternae, they look stacking upon one and upon another. Now what are the functions of Golgi? The main function is involved in storage, modification and packaging of various substances in the cell. Now very important function is lysosome, which is a very important cell organelle which is formed from Golgi complex. So when the vesicles get matured, they got pinched up. Suppose this is a vesicle, the vesicle get matured, now this vesicle get pinched off from the cisternae and they individually form lysosome. Lysosome are filled with enzymes. So that is the third topic I am going to discuss. Now formation of lysosome is the second function of Golgi, and also Golgi complex form various complex sugar within it. Now Golgi has two phases, cis phase and trans phase. Cis phase means forming phase. Okay, cis phase means this is the cis phase, this is the trans phase. So this is the forming phase of the Golgi, that is the cis phase, forming phase. Okay, it is convex in size, shape, due to the towards, why it is convex in shape? Because it is located towards the cell membrane. Okay, and this cis phase is responsible for receiving secretory material. And the trans phase, or this is the maturing phase, this phase is the concave phase, and it is located, okay, which is located near the nucleus and is responsible for releasing the materials. So these are the two phases of the Golgi. Next cell organelle is mitochondria. The next cell organelle is mitochondria. Now mitochondria is the plural form, mitochondrion is the singular. Now mitochondria was discovered by Kolliker in the year 1880. Mitochondria is a double membrane structure. It is a double membrane bound organelle, and it is found to be a very important cell organelle because ATP is synthesized here, or energy is called the powerhouse of the cell. Now the mitochondrial membrane, the outer membrane, is very porous and continuous, while the inner membrane is highly folded. Now this folding are because to form cristae. Now these cristae are present in order to increase the surface area. You can see I have drawn the diagram. This is the outer membrane which is continuous, and this is the inner membrane forming cristae. Now you see the mitochondria is known as semi-autonomous. Why it is semi-autonomous? Because it is self-replicating. It has its own DNA and ribosome, so it can replicate itself. So that's why it is called semi-autonomous. And it's the largest cell organelle in the cell and known as powerhouse of the cell because it forms the ATP, or it helps in the production of energy in the cell, hence known as powerhouse. Okay, so if you study further about the ultrastructure of the mitochondria, then you can see the inner membrane. The inner membrane, it is also having the F1 particle and F0 particle, which is not the topic here in class 9. Next cell organelle is vacuole. Now vacuole is very large membranous sac bound structure in the cytoplasm. Generally vacuole are huge and large in the plant cell, and generally they store various type of substances essential for plants like water, like cell sap, excretory products, and various other materials. Now plant vacuoles contain not only water but also sugar, salts, and many other components. Even pigments are also present in plant cell. So 90% of the volume of the cell in the plant is due to the vacuole. Now the vacuolar membrane is known as tonoplast. So tonoplast is the membrane of the vacuole. So it is a single membrane structure. There are two types of vacuole in animals, food vacuole and contractile vacuole. So food vacuole and contractile vacuole, let me discuss about it in a brief. Now contractile vacuole, they plays an important role in osmoregulation. Osmoregulation is body fluid, regulation of body fluid, and also excretion in various animals like amoeba. Okay, so food vacuole they occur generally in single cell organism or protista or protozoan protista. They help in engulfing the food material from the surrounding medium by the fusion of lysosome and phagosome. So you will study about food vacuole and about this in the chapter diversity of living organism, class 9. You have that chapter. You can understand about the protozoan and protista, all these things. The next cell organelle is lysosome. Now lysosome are very important cell organelle which is known as suicidal bag or demolition squadron. There are various numerous names given to lysosome. Now they are formed from the Golgi. As I discussed earlier that when these vesicles get matured, from the cis phase, these vesicles get detached from the Golgi and they individually form lysosome. Now lysosomes are very important because they helps in the cleaning of the cell. So that's why they are called cellular scavenger, or they are called suicidal bag because they burst themselves. Suppose there is a damage in the cell or there is any disturbance in the cell, in that case the lysosome bursts itself and release the enzyme present within it to digest the cellular component which is not in use. So it cleans the cell. That's why they are called cellular scavenger. They are called demolition squadron because they demolish themselves, or they are called suicidal bag because they commit suicide, means they burst themselves to release out the enzymes present in it to digest the cellular component. So that's why they are called cellular scavenger. Next come the plastid, which is a very very important cell organelle present in only plant cell and algal cell. Now plastid, they are double membrane bound structure. Same like mitochondria, they are also having double membrane and they have their own genetic material, that is they have their own DNA and ribosome. Hence they are also known as semi-autonomous. Now plastid are generally of three types: leucoplast, colorless plastid; chromoplast, the plastid with other than green plastid, that is orange, yellow, red; and the chloroplast, which is green plastids containing chlorophyll pigment. Now plastids have double membrane bound structure, inside which in the matrix we can find the grana. Now let me discuss about the structure in detail. You can see here there are double membrane, outer membrane and inner membrane. And you can see here I have drawn some flattened structure. These are called thylakoid. The thylakoid are stacks upon each other to form granum. This is one granum, this is another granum, this is another granum. So I have drawn 4 grana. Grana is the plural, granum is the singular. So thylakoid are stacked together to form granum. Each individual granum are connected to each other by stroma lamella. So stroma lamella is this one, the structure connecting the two granum. Clear? And you can see here, this is the matrix. This is the matrix. So this is the structure of general plastid. Now plastid help in photosynthesis, you know. Okay. Now as I told you about the types of plastid, let me discuss about the leucoplast. Leucoplast is again divided into 3 types, that is amyloplast, elaioplast and aureoplast. Amyloplast are generally meant for storing carbohydrate. Okay. Like in rice, wheat, potato, amyloplasts are present in large number. Next, elaioplast stores oil and fat. Okay, like in castor seed, mustard, we can find in the endosperm of the seed, elaioplast are present. And last is the aureoplast, that is, they store protein. So these are the cell organelles. Next come ribosome. Now ribosome are very small subspherical granular organelles which are non-membranous. Remember, ribosome do not have any membrane and they are produced in the nucleolus and come out from the nuclear pore into the cytoplasm through RER. Now it was discovered by George Palade in the year 1955. Now these ribosomes are composed of ribonucleoprotein. Ribonucleoprotein means RNA plus protein. RNA and protein. As they are composed of RNA and protein, hence they are known as protein factories. Now you you have studied in class 8 about 70S and 80S ribosomes. Now what does S stand for? Now 70S is found in prokaryotic cell and 80S ribosomes are found in eukaryotic cell. Now many of you think that what is S? S stand for Stackberg unit. Now it is the unit which is generally the sedimentation coefficient to decide its density and size. So we can use S. So sedimentation coefficient is the measure, indirect measure of the density and size of the ribosome. So you have already read about 70S and 80S ribosome in the previous classes. So I am not going to mention it here. Next come the very important structure of the cell, which is also known as nucleus. You know that it is also known as brain of the cell. As our brain controls the entire function of our body, the nucleus also controls all the metabolic process of the cell. Now, nucleus is composed of double membrane, outer membrane, inner membrane. Okay. And inside you can see a deeply stained structure called nucleolus. Remember, nucleolus do not have any membrane. Nucleus is a double membrane structure, but nucleolus is a membraneless structure. Now you can see here gaps are present. As it is a two-dimensional structure, so I can draw like this only. So in three-dimensional structure, you can find nuclear pores are present on the various parts of the nucleus. Now these are nuclear pores through which the exchange of materials take place between nucleoplasm and the cytoplasm. So the fluid-filled jelly-like substance within the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. Now inside this nucleolus, ribosomes are produced and they come out from these nuclear pore and get stuck to the RER, that is endoplasmic reticulum. So this is the nucleus structure, and you can see highly tangled structure present in the nucleoplasm, which are known as chromatin thread. Now these chromatin thread undergo condensation during cell division and forms chromosome. So chromosomes are the unit of inheritance where the DNA are present, gene is present, which is the segment of DNA which bear the genetic information. Now during condensation, these chromatin threads undergo condensation to form chromosome. Now chromosome, actually they are made up of chromatid. Now it is very difficult to draw structure on a whiteboard. Now see this center, this is called the centromere. The centromere hold the two chromatid arms. These are the two chromatid arms and this is the centromere. Okay. So every chromosome is in pairs. So we human beings have 23 pairs of chromosome. That is 46 chromosomes in our body in every cell. So if we have trillions of cells in our body, every cell will have 46 chromosomes. That is 23 pair. So each chromosome will form a pair. So this is one pair. Okay, like this there are 23 chromosome, 1 to 23 pairs. Now first 22 pairs are called autosomes. 1 to 22 pairs are called autosomes. Okay, and the 23rd pair is the sex chromosome. Now the sex chromosome in female, you know, it is XX and in male it is XY, which is a different topic to study in some other chapter or in other class. So I hope you understood about the topics. Next comes the cell theory. Now what does cell theory? So children, the last topic of this chapter is cell theory. Now cell theory was formulated first by two scientists simultaneously. In the year 1938, the botanist, that is Matthias Clidden, he was a German scientist, he proposed cell theory in the plants. Means he has observed the plants and stated some of the features and proposed cell theory. In the next year, in 1839, a famous zoologist called Theodor Schwann, he was also a German scientist. He observed the animals and he proposed some of the characteristics of the animals and proposed cell theory. So both of their work were same. One has done work on the plants, another on the animals. So what was their proposal? Now their proposals were: cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Second is all cells arise from pre-existing cells. But their cell theory was having some objections. So what was the objection? Because they could not explain how and from where the new cells were formed. So they did not tell about the conception of cell division. So there was an objection, and hence another scientist known as Rudolf Virchow in the year 1855, he expanded the cell theory. And what was the expansion? Let me tell you. He told omni cellulae e cellulae. What does this term means? Omni cellulae e cellulae means new cells developed by the division of the pre-existing cell. So hence you can see here one more added term is, one more point is added. So what are the principles? Hence the principles of the cell theory are: all living organisms were made up of cell. Cells are the smallest unit of life. And the last but not the least, all cells come from pre-existing cells through the process of cell division. So this is about cell theory. Hope you understood the topic of cell, the cell membrane, cell wall, the cell organelles and their functions, the cell theory and the entire chapter, and also about the fluid mosaic model. So learn from your NCERT book line by line in this lockdown. You have enough time, you have enormous time to explore new type of topics regarding this cell. You can go through your reference books, NCERT, and even you can Google some of the contents. So thanks for watching my video. So children, hope you understood the topic about the cell organelles, their function, and also about the cell theory and the modified cell theory. So keep watching my videos. If you have any doubts regarding the topics, then you can comment me. Thank you.